Thank you all. Thank you all very much. I have to say, Deshaun, Michelle, Representative Mahab, that was a very moving presentation. Forterra is doing exactly the right thing on those urban keystone lands, and that is exactly the first project to start that work with. So thank you guys, that was terrific. And thank you all too. Thank you all. On behalf of Forterra, we are very deeply grateful. This is a room of people in a community that believes we can do great things and keep this place sustainable and livable for everyone. It is just so moving. So thank you. And Maggie, thank you. Maggie, thank you so much. We've been friends for a long time. I've seen you as just the greatest leader of this place for probably even longer, and that means so much to me, to Forterra, and to the entire community. Maggie, thank you. I'm one of the many people who are lucky to have spent time with Doug. He made us each better, and he made this place so much better. So thank you. Thank you, Maggie. Thank you, Doug. Okay, there's one more story. Forterra is committed to keystone places, that dirt, in all of our cities, which brings us to Everett and a neighborhood called Everett Station. As you'd guess, it's a transportation hub, Amtrak, Sounder trains, buses, and later, Link Light Rail. The neighborhood around the station has a vibrant future, with still affordable homes and local businesses serving the people moving there who want to be near transit. We're helping the community get started on that future right now. And with our friends at Methuen Architecture, we're visualizing the possibilities. There's even more to the story. Everett Station will be the anchor, the endpoint, in a series of interconnected keystone lands. You see, we tie keystone to keystone to keystone for transformational impact. We call these corridors of sustainability. And we're working to create them in many parts of this state right now. Today is about this particular one, this particular corridor of sustainability that radiates eastwards from Everett. Our working name for it is the Great Northern Corridor. It's a sinuous 70 miles long from Everett to Stevens Pass, running alongside the Skykomish River as it washes high mountain snowmelt down to the Salish Sea. It is a storied place, home for thousands of years to the Tulalip, Stillaguamas, and Sauk-Suiattle Indians peoples. A place of community, a place of providence, and a place of shelter. With European settlement came the Great Northern Railroad, that old iron horse from Minnesota to the Sound. Today, the corridor also contains Highway 2, speeding us far too quickly past river and mountain and community. Now, we'll slow down and take a closer look because it's beautiful and because it abounds in keystone lands. Starting just outside Everett, the Tulalip Nations prosper as a vital force. In 2016, we were honored to work with the tribe to save a 1.5-mile stretch of the Wallace River, just below the falls, and habitat to 5 species of salmon and trout. And now, it's safely back under the tribe's enduring care. Our journey along the corridor next passes by the lands around Snohomish, Monroe, and Sultan. Once continuous forest and farmland, they're now at risk. So we're working with people of all stripes to secure these working lands for the long haul. But there's more to the corridor. More keystone places that need to be secured. they face a very different set of challenges and opportunities. To guide you through all that, I'll introduce Joe Sambataro. Joe's a one-time Forterran and an all-the-time dear friend who now works with a partner access fund. Come on up, Joe. Way to go, guys.
Hello, everyone. I'm your action and adventure tour guide to some people and places you really ought to know. Like Gene said, I'm now with Access Fund, which works to protect climbing areas all across the country. We work with Forterra, and I've always been a Forterran at heart. It was my first big job out of college. And a lot of it focused here in the Great Northern Corridor. But my introduction came much earlier. I grew up fishing on the Skykomish River with my father. Maybe you have your own memories from up there, or maybe after this whirlwind tour, you'll go up and create your own. So that I don't have to paddle against the current, which goes west, let's fly out to the eastern end of that corridor, near Stevens Pass. Fast, huh? Well, way up here, the corridor butts up against 3 different wilderness areas: Wild Sky, Alpine Lakes, Henry M. Jackson. Right now, Forterra is working to protect a place called Windy Ridge, 640 acres of land adjacent to wilderness. 300 of those are old growth. There are 3 lakes and the headwaters of the South Fork of the Skykomish. What makes us think that, together, we can secure this glorious keystone of the Great Northern Corridor? Well, Forterra just bought 376 acres of old growth not far from here, so we've already got momentum. Securing wildlands like this, places that could be habitat for wildlife, places to hike and paddle, places that could be areas for us to go out and enjoy, that could just be, is a critical part of Forterra's strategy. And as Gene said, in a corridor like this, one keystone links to another and another and another. In this part of the corridor, what ties them together is the prospect of a new recreation-based economy, because there's so much to do out there. And if done right, everyone wins. People live out here for many reasons. Many are dedicated to bringing new life and economic vitality to their communities. And those of us who live in cities nearby, it will add a rich dimension for us who enjoy to go there. It's just an hour away from here. And as we add 900,000 more people in the next 20 years, we're going to need wild places to cherish and explore. Will it be easy to get it all right? No. But as you'll see, it's really worth doing, because this place is awesome. One low-impact way is get an alpine start and go on a hike. So one of the goals of the corridor is to build a hiking trail that will go the whole distance all the way to Everett. But it's not here yet, so I'll leave it to your imagination. All right, if you're following along in the map, here we are in Skykomish. What a place! Rich in history, full of potential. But I'm not the best person to tell its story. Not when the mayor of Skykomish is sitting right here. Mayor Tony Greider.
Thank you, Joe. And thank you to Forterra for having me. Here's your 2-minute history of the town of Skykomish. Skykomish is one of the West's great railroad towns. During the heyday of the Great Northern Railway, the finest passenger trains in America stopped here. I love their names: the Great Northern Flyer, the Western Star, my favorite, the Empire Builder. But eventually people stopped traveling by train and started traveling by car. Freight trains didn't stop as much either. The town began to struggle. Logging helped, but it declined as the old growth was cut. The last local lumber mill shut down in 1958. The great old Skykomish Hotel and Restaurant was built in 1905. In the hotel's peak years, it had 3 saloons and card rooms open 24 hours a day to the railroad crews. But by the mid-1990s, business had slowed so much that the owners had to shut it down. But now we're turning a corner. New people have started to move in, and together we're reinventing our little town. With the help of Forterra, we've started to see ourselves in a new way, as a magnet for people looking for outdoor recreation, for the great old architecture and small town hospitality. Yes, we're starting to see ourselves as a keystone place, tied to other keystone places along the corridor. And you know what? That beautiful old hotel, well, it's reopening again soon. Thank you very much. Thank you, Forterra. Thank you.
I want to tell you about a couple more things we're cooking up with the mayor and the people of Skykomish. One is a trail that starts in town and leads up to one of the most stunning viewpoints in the Cascades. It's called Maloney Ridge. Here's a sneak peek of what you'll see from there. And around Maloney, there's a whole network of trails being planned by our partners at the Evergreen Mountain Bike Alliance. Strap on a helmet and take one of those trails down and cool off with a dip in the river. All right. It's time to say goodbye to Skykomish. We'll be leaving by boat, and that's what this paddle is for, as you've seen. Let's paddle the proposed Skykomish to Salish Sea Water Trail. It's an 84-mile trail along the Skykomish and Snohomish rivers, from the town of Skykomish all the way to Everett. Along the way, there's whitewater, there's flat water, there's forest, there's farm. There's a chance to clamber out of your boat, grab a cup of coffee, a plate of pancakes. Forterra is working with tribal nations, private landowners, towns and cities, just about everyone, to figure out what's needed to make this trail a reality, including access points, maps, and signage, so that people know where to eddy out and where to paddle on. All right, that was something. And now I'm a little flummoxed, because I want to get up to the town of Index, which would mean paddling upstream. What to do?
Snorkel!
Excuse me, Mr. O'Keefe? Snorkel? Mr. O'Keefe, Forterra board member, American Whitewater legend, and a mentor of mine. That really is Tom in some of that footage. And now, here we are in Index. An old logging mining town, and home away from home for me. Thank you, Tom. It's named after the famous peak that sits behind it. Another famous feature of Index are the town walls. Granite climbing as good as anywhere. Once a quarry, now protected by our partners, it's a centerpiece of the town's recreation economy. I love climbing here. Imagine, you're roped up, plugging cams high above the North Fork. Nothing beats stemming up a corner and smearing your feet on some tacky granite. I was going to harness up and ascend a rope this morning, but cooler heads prevailed. So, anyways, if you prefer to stay closer to the ground, there's also some amazing bouldering nearby. On top of that, you're very near to the trail to Lake Serene. Maybe you've been there. There's a waterfall, Bridalveil Falls. I've tried to climb it when it's frozen, not recommended. So, do you know that today, Forterra is working hard to secure forests along that trail, ensuring it remains open and as amazing as ever? You know, this work along the Great Northern Corridor is not new for us. We've been at it for many years. Here's a map showing all that's been accomplished. With your help, a lot more will come. I'm really proud to have made my own small contribution to this work. For me, it will always be associated with Doug Walker, who did so much in the hikes on Mount Persis and everywhere to stir my love, our love, for this landscape. This is Haybrook Ridge, just above Index. Today, from the town, if you look up, you see trees instead of clear cut or development. And that would have been the wrong use of dirt in this place. I'm so proud of how we came together with the people who live there the people who love this place, to secure that land, this Keystone place. Hundreds of supporters kicked in money. Ultimately, what pushed it over the top was a gift of $500,000 from an anonymous donor. A gift by a donor who knew his life was ending, but wanted his town to have a future. I think about that man, and I also think about Doug, the legacies they left, the expressions of love and commitment for this place, for its people. I hope to live up to their example, so I better get back to work. Thanks for having me.